Hi, this is Kate, and welcome to the Ordinary Earth song. Okay, so I'm just going to let's try pick a card reading. Let's use the Divine Nature cards for the picker cards. Cards, please. Okay, that one, and that one. Okay, so card number one is create. Pile number two, it's in reverse. Unmask your darkness. Wow, okay. And number three, remember who you are. Okay, so pick your piles. You can obviously choose which one to watch, whichever ones you fancy. And I will see you there. Okay, pile number one. You chose create, number 17. Create. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But let's see what the book says. 17. I'll hold it so you can read it as well. Hopefully you can see that. The colours inside of you must be expressed. To restrain your creativity is to shut off the flow of source, as we are made in its creative image. Whether you paint, dance, sing, sculpt, stitch, weave, write, tell or shape, every creation expands the universe in joy. It's not just healthy to get out what lives inside of you. The process is necessary and holy for the soul of the world, and allows all of us to know ourselves deeper and brighter as we engage with you. Now is the time to create with wild abandon. Don't say you aren't creative. Don't say there is no time. Prioritize your creative expression, even and especially if what you're creating serves no purpose other than the flow. That is enough. You are enough. Create now. That's a beautiful message. I was talking to my sister earlier and we were talking about her sort of dabbling in creating some jewellery. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. And I said, you can create anything you put your mind to. And that is true for everybody. You can literally create anything you put your mind to. And I always remember a story from when I was younger. I would create a lot of pictures. I would paint and I would draw and I would do all sorts of things. And then there was always the question from the parents, so what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with it? Why are you doing it? And because they asked it so regularly, and it made me feel like there had to be a purpose for it. And eventually I stopped because I realised there was no purpose for it. It was just for the fun of doing it. And that didn't seem like enough. So I stopped. And that's if I could go back and talk to my younger self, don't stop. It's okay. You can create just for the fun of it. So this is a create message. Let's see if I pop that there. Perfect. Okay. So let's see out the cards, shall we? This is a cards from a reading I did yesterday. Okay, let's pop that over there. Can I have a message for pile number 1, please? Is there a message for... Oh, blimey, okay. Message for pile number 1, please. This one. Okay, that was a lot. So... 9 of Swords. Considering what we just read and what I've just said and what I drew on from my past there, this card really feels like that self-doubt about your ability or the reason why you would create anything. And it feels like a doubt. There's a doubt there. There's a real sort of uncertainty. It's not so much about skill, it's about worthiness, worthiness. You don't feel worthy of the creation that you're trying to make? Or you don't... worthiness. I was going to say worthlessness. So that's what I was saying about my art sort of became worthless, which is sad. But your creations are never worthless, and that sort of... there's always this point of hope. There's always the light in the dark. There's always that need to create, that that part of you that's saying it's okay, you can create, you can do this, it's okay. And there's some real heartbreak about this. Real heartbreak. This is about something you love. You don't feel worthy of it, or you don't feel able to do it, or it's real heartbreak. But then you've got the moon, which is, I think, this is about listening to your inner guidance, your intuition. What is it telling you about what you're trying to create or want to create? Because I'm getting the feeling it's telling you, go for it. Do it. The more you do it, the more practice you get, the better you will become. And whatever it is you want to create isn't worthless. And you are worthy of creating it. Let's see what else is in here. Look at that. That is backing up what I was just saying. You have the light inside you. You have the instinct, the joy, the love, the spark of divine love, energy, light. It's tethered to you. You are tethered to it. That spark of creativity is there. Goodness, Queen of Cups. Look at that. She's fully in her power. She's fully immersed. I think she's half immersed in water here. But that's all about your intuition and going with the flow as well, isn't it? Trust. Temperance. This is real balance. See, even though you have this doubt and heartache, and you have that in you do. It's holding you back. If you listen to your intuition and allowed your joy and your heart center to really guide you and give you that heartfelt joy in what you're doing, it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks about it. It doesn't really matter what you're going to do with it even. The point of it is the joy of doing it, the joy of creation, the joy of making something, and the realization that you made that. That came from you. And even if nobody else ever sees it, it doesn't matter. Goodness me. Page of Wands. I mean, this couldn't be a clearer picture of find the joy in what you're creating. Within, from within. Let it express itself. You can be guided if you listen. There is heartbreak, heartache even, and there is this inner doubt, but there's also the spark, the balance, the intuition, the guidance, the joy, the love, the letting go, sinking ourselves in, just allowing yourself to follow through the path of least resistance and just allowing the creation to come forth. I don't think we really need it. I'm going to pull a card from Wisdom of the Oracle. I'll let Bowen read. Just to see, because we've had loads of confirmations here about this. So I'm not really sure we need it. Oh, okay, maybe we do. Soulmates and Observer. I don't know why, but my first thought here was, is this what's holding you back? Is it what somebody else thinks? Have you got someone that you consider to be your soulmate that doesn't see the value in what you create? Or who poo-poos it? Or is it that you're trying to create the connection with a soulmate? Interesting. But this is about the heartache, the heartbreak, the doubt. Feels like it's connected to the observer, the perceived observer, the person that's going to come along and look at your creations and either give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on their opinion of it. Quite frankly, and this is really hard to hear sometimes, because it's really hard to do, and that is, don't give a shit about what somebody else thinks. It's about the journey, it's about the creating, it's about the joy you get from that process. And that joy will come out in whatever it is that you create. That self-expression will come out in whatever it is you create. Even if you're creating without joy, you're creating with the need to express anger, or you're creating with the need to just express whatever emotions there are inside you. It's an expression and it needs to be expressed. If someone else wants to come along and look at that and give their opinion of it, fine. Anybody in the world can do that to anybody else at any given time. But it doesn't mean that what they're saying is true. It's true from their perspective, maybe. But who gives a shit what they think? Soulmates, for some reason, feels like holding out for something. Never noticed his face before. Can you see that? It's like someone observing them. That's interesting. There's one more card for clarification on the soulmates would actually be quite useful, I think. Go back to the tarot. Okay, clarification for the soulmates, please. Okay. 3 of Wands. Adventure. Skill. Is that what that card means? That's what I'm getting from it. I have to look that up. 3 of Wands. Chat amongst yourselves. Okay. Energy manifested. Waiting for the results of your effort, the arrival of opportunities, finally understanding your ambitions, continuous improvement and moving in the right direction, progress. So that's all about your creative ability, actually letting yourself just express yourself in whatever form that takes. And not caring what anybody else thinks about it, or even what you're going to actually be doing with it after it's completed. Just doing it for the love of doing it. And as you do it, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more able you become to express yourself via that medium. And you might explore other mediums. But that doesn't answer the question about soulmates. Was that card a mistake? It shouldn't have come out. Okay. Self-assuredness. This is an earth card. Confidence. Protected. Got loyalty there. Very steady, self-assured, calm. I think in relation to soulmates here, that's the message. If you're waiting for a soulmate that's going to come along, maybe that's it. Okay, maybe that's it. You're waiting for someone to come along to share the creating process with you. You're waiting for someone to say, yes, I will do that with you. Or you're waiting for something from someone to affirm what you're doing and that they're going to do it with you, or something along those lines. This is kind of suggesting, actually, that you shouldn't wait. You should find your own self-assurance and just crack on, because you've got this. The longer you wait, the actual more disappointment and heartbreak you're going to feel, because it's holding you back, it's stopping you from creating. And even though they might seem like a soulmate, that doesn't mean that you should allow them to take away your ability to do something as simple as creating on your own terms, under your own steam, your own power, your own sense of self. You're giving them that power to stop you from doing that, and that's not necessary. You are the King of Pentacles, and you have the power of the Three of Wands, the Queen of Cups, Temperance, Page of Wands, the Star, and the Moon. That is all you. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I will see you, if you want to go to the next one, fantastic, I'll see you there. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. You chose Unmask Your Darkness. I'm guessing this is all about the own personal inner darkness that everybody has inside them. And looking at it, actually witnessing your darkness, not shying away from it, denying it, but actually looking at it, recognising it, and taking away the mystery or the hurt or whatever. Let's see what the book says. Number 7. Unmask Your Darkness. The dark is so The dark is so misunderstood, but it doesn't need to be. It is in the darkness that things grow and develop, including you. You are being asked to embrace your darkness as mother. The Night of Soul has secrets for you and is illuminating truths you wouldn't be able to see in the garish brightness of the known. Poet Mary Oliver talked about a box of darkness being a priceless gift in her life. The chaos, crisis and suffering want to gift you a new understanding of who you really are beyond who you have thought yourself to be. It is when the dark surrounds us that we come to know ourselves as the light. Interesting. So this is like, you need the dark to understand the light. You can't have one without the other. And actually seeing the dark, recognising it, and knowing that it's there, allows your light to shine bright, and you can then witness the opposite of the dark. You see the darkness, you recognise it, you see the volume of it, and then you see in equal measure the light. So you have to know one to know the other. Interesting. Extremely true. Been thinking a lot about that recently, actually. A lot about that indeed. Okay, that one flew. Reading for number, message for number, oh my goodness, a message for reading number 2, please. Okay. Ooh. They are flying out. Any more cards for reading number 2, please? Oh, okay. I just want you to look at these cards first. Okay. Okay, we'll do that one first because it flew. 2 of Pentacles. This is balancing. This is balancing 2 opposing energies, a dark and a light, right? This is literally what that card said. This is about juggling of interaction between the two. When we want the light to shine bright, right? And we want to smother the darkness, because that's something about ourselves that could be embarrassing. It could be something that causes great anger or angst. So juggling that light and dark side of ourselves can be quite difficult, because quite often the dark can smother the light, but the light is still there. There's always a spark of light. Do we need the pressure of constantly thinking about making our light shine bright? No, we don't. We don't need that pressure. What we need is balance. An actual kind of, everything consists of both the light and the dark in equal measure. And in actual fact, potentially, no, definitely, the more we accept that fact, the more whole we will become. Because we'll just be able to accept who we are in totality, rather than always wanting to be the light, bright, super happy person who is, I don't know, spiritually aware all the time, and happy and laughing and joyful or mystical and mysterious, or whatever you think the light should look like. You can't maintain that. It's impossible, because the dark also exists in you, and it will rear its head. And if you try to ignore that, then you're actually preventing yourself from witnessing something new about yourself, something new about the light in you, because the dark is always a reflection of who you really are, as is the light. If you deny the dark, you are denying the light. Six of Cups. It's about childhood into adulthood, companionship. It's a watery card. It's about relationships. It's probably about that reminiscing. Dogs live for a really long time. I don't think they live that long, do they? Could be a different dog, I suppose. Could be reminiscing. Oh dear, 5 of Wands. See, this is supposed to be about conflict, right? It's a fiery card. It's about conflict. But to me, they look like they're helping each other get to the top of this. Although this guy's literally just hanging. I don't know what he's achieving here. This guy's floating. And these two look like they're debating about whether or not they can reach that. I mean, obviously this guy can just about. But they don't look like they're arguing to me. They're definitely not working together. They're not hindering each other so much. I mean, if anything, these guys could be holding it all together so that these guys can get up to the top. So they're working together. I don't know. It's a strange card for me. 5 of Wands, though, is supposed to be about conflict. Conflicting emotions. This feels like past and present more than about relationship. And then we have Queen of Wands, but it was in reverse. I don't know if that was in reverse before, whether I turned it up. I don't think I did. Queen of Wands in reverse. So, this is quite a joyful card. She looks like someone I know. Anyway. She's got literally the power in the palm of her hand. She's got the light in the palm of her hand. But this is about recognising the dark. The light is still there, but the dark is predominant. With the light, dark. And in the dark, the light is revealed in its trueness. Intellectual Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. Can do anything you put your mind to. Five of Swords, you've got another 5. This is a real struggle for you. You really don't like the dark. You really don't like that dark side of yourself. It feels like aggression or competition, or it feels like dark memories almost. It's a real struggle, but you have the light inside you. You know you do. It's in the palm of your hands. But maybe it's the pressure. Is it the pressure of always needing to be this light beacon of otherworldly divineness? It's a lot of pressure, you know. It's actually... I mean, unless you're a monk who can literally switch off from the world and not interact with everyday people and not work in a normal job and not have to go to the supermarket or whatever, it's really difficult to maintain just the light because the dark is there. And you can't really deny that because it's there to help you recognise the light. It's almost like the more light you allow in, the darker the dark becomes, and the bigger challenge you will have to go through, potentially. Or the more you see of yourself that doesn't compare to the light. And when you compare the darkness to the light, what you're actually doing is saying that one is better than the other. Oh, that's in reverse. King of Wands in reverse. So strength. This is weakening you. It's stopping you from fully getting into who you are in your whole self. Because there isn't balance. You aren't juggling them both equally. You're trying to deny one and only allow the other. So when the dark does show up, it's really difficult to deal with. Because you'd much prefer it didn't exist at all. Because that's not who you want to be, who you are when you're in the light. When you're in the light, you're so happy, but then the dark comes along and ruins it. And in actual fact, that's not unusual for people to be that way, to feel that way about it. I know I have. You're going through life all happy, clappy, everything's going really well, lovely jubbly and whatever, and then all of a sudden something comes along, you're just like, what the hell? And then you find yourself being all angry and mean or bitter or kind of judgmental towards, and you catch yourself doing it and you're like, oh my god, who am I right now? Where did this all come from? This isn't me. It might not be you as you are now. It might have been you in the past, and you're remembering the responses you've had in the past. chaos and conflict. Seems to back up what I was just saying, eh? And why? Chaos and conflict. Why? The more we deny the darkness inside ourselves, the more chaotic it feels when it rears its head. Because life can be very steady when we're in our calm, lighter side of things. Everything's going really well, we're in the flow. Being in the flow is marvellous. But then there's always that element, that need to grow again. You can be in a flow for however long, and then there's always that spiritual reminder that this is great, by the way, this is working out really well, but there's another layer here, there's another layer you can achieve. And unfortunately, to achieve that, you just need to chip back into being a bit of an arse, just for a bit, and then also maybe having arguments with people, just one or two, just disagreements where you feel like you're not being heard or you can't express yourself fully. You know, just so you remember, and that will help you then recognize that part of yourself and, you know, kind of work that out, and then you can move into a slightly different higher level of light being, go into a different flow potentially. So you just need to have that experience first, and that's kind of what happens. And sometimes it's as simple as that, or it could be as big as something absolutely disastrous happening and everything falling apart for a bit. But it always takes you back. If you strive through, reveal the darkness, really work with it, recognise what's going on, don't deny it. And this is the why. If you don't deny it, you actually recognise it, you work with it, you're actually actively taking part in that process of growth. You're not stopping it, you're not slowing it down, you're not having to repeat the cycle, because you're working with it, actively working with it, you're recognising it, you're seeing it, you're doing something with it. Whereas if you were to say, be like, not recognise that you're going into this phase of being a bit of an arse or whatever, or find it really difficult to deal with things right now, you don't recognise that that's happening, you just carry on having that experience over and over and over again, because you're not growing from that experience. So from that point you would go into a cycle of a bit of okay, a bit of not so much okay, a bit of okay, a bit of not so much okay, and then it's only until you do the work with the darkness, you recognise a higher level of light, and that takes you back into a different flow pattern. For the cycle to happen at some point again in the future in a different circumstance, because there's always a level of darkness to explore, to allow a different understanding of the light to come out. I think that's everything for this reading. So I hope that helped in some way, shape or form. I'm going to go into reading number 3. So thank you very much. I will see you again soon. Bye. Hello, read number 3. You chose the Remember Who You Are card. This is an elephant. Elephants have long memories. Remember who you are. Who are you? Who's the whole you? Let's see what this card means. 42. They say an elephant never forgets, and now is the time to emulate her powerful spirit. She knows who she is and carries the wisdom of the ancestors in her veins and the song of the earth in her mighty step. Her grace and power remind us we need only honour our own nature and embrace its natural shape in order to embody remembrance. Allow yourself to take up all the space you need to express your particular genius. Allow yourself to love who and what you love unabashedly. Make no apologies for what feels most natural and alive to you. Now is the time to remember who you are before the world told you who you should be. Oh wow, that's beautiful. We've all been programmed from childhood to be what is expected. This is about remembering who you were, who you are, who you will be before the programming took place. You are still that person. It's just that your original programming has been overridden by humanness. Let's see what messages come. Can we have a message for reading number 3, please? God, seriously? Okay. Any more for any more? Oh, goodness. Okay. Let's go with these. These came out first. Ace of Swords. This is about having your own inner ability to work things out. This is about intellect. It's about being able to dig deep, dive deep, to have the power inside you. The crown chakra links you to the source and your own personal power. Intuition, clarity. This is the ability to tune into yourself, right? This is what this is saying. That's what this card is about. Tune into yourself. The self beyond your programming. The self beyond who you've told you need to be or should be. Page of Pentacles. Balance. Look at this, I've just noticed this, look. There's a root coming out of the pentacle. It's wrapping around her leg and her foot and it's going into the ground. She's grounded. She's balanced and she's grounded. You can find connection from above. But there's also connection from Mother Earth as well. You can ground into that energy of Mother Earth. Practical advice here. Okay. Now so we've got, oh my goodness, the wheel. What goes around comes around. This is about balance. It's about chance. It's about energy, the light and the dark. This is about you, who you are. You are a light and a dark. You are balanced. Everything's to do with probability and chance. Everything. They can't predict the future properly because it changes. Grounding will keep you steady, and this is your self. Partnership, flow, filling your cup, energy, balance, again, 2 of Cups. Now, this is an energy of pigs will fly, right? So is there an element of doubt here? Of, I know who I am, but do you? I've got, I don't know why, societal norms sprang to mind as soon as I saw that. Pigs will fly speaks of people not believing, or it's being like, yeah, whatever, when pigs will fly type of situation or attitude. But there's this dreamy, wishful thinking element of who you are that sits outside of social norms and beyond the attitude around pigs will fly, and just know, yeah, pigs will fly, whatever, why not? Again, social norms. Oh, the Empress in reverse. This is about motherhood, nurturing, grounding again. But in reverse. I need to look that one up. Shadow seer, infertility, emotional overwhelm, shutting down, the need for self-care, disharmony, negligence, being materialistic, being overprotective of your creations, being overly dependent on others. So this is the aspect of who we are within our programming. This is the potential of who we can be. This is the potential of who we become. We become cut off. We become unknowing. We become ignorant of who we actually are and not aligned with who we actually are. And we don't have that ability to tap into the guidance that's being offered to us all the time. And because we have that cut off, we have that inability to tap into what we were before we started being programmed, that our programming becomes predominant in the functionality of our lives, and therefore it can screw us up massively because it gives us all these expectations, and maybe we can't meet those expectations. It gives us all these wants and desires and social norms and all this other stuff that we're just like, yeah, experience shutdown, the need for some opportunity to take care of ourselves, disharmony, being materialistic, being judgmental, being all these things that we're kind of encouraged to do and be when we're in a human society, a human state of being. And the programming kind of gives us the impression that is what we should do as humans, but that's our right, that's how we work, right? But that isn't actually who we are. The world in reverse. So that if the world was upright, it would be about completion, joy, wholeness, achievement, happy endings, abundance, success, new levels of consciousness, literally travelling the world. I read that out because I think I was supposed to, because that is who we could be. And then we've got the shadow seer side, which is taking shortcuts, a need for closure, a need to follow through, staying focused in order to complete an unfinished task, a delay in plans and unmet dreams. So this truly not tapping into our whole selves, truly not understanding who we are before we are programmed, and coming at it from the point of view of somebody who is programmed, and from that perspective trying to then work out what the programming is. It's hard, it's difficult, but it's possible if you become the witness, the observer. You would find the ability to sit back and objectively look at things, take apart all the elements, all the expectations, all the social norms, because you have, look at this top row here, this top row is the potential, right? This bottom row is full of social norms and kind of expectations and the want to move outside of those things, but being drawn back into them constantly because that's the way we live. That's society. We're constantly drawn back in because that's the interaction we have with the world around us, with the people around us, with like social media, with television, with cinema, news, with people we work with just general people, public. Oh dear, excuse me. Just the general public. And it delays us, it slows us down, it makes it very hard to get back to this kind of element of who we are. Who are we without the programming? Who are we before we are without the need to I want to say compromise then. It is almost like a compromise. It's compromising. It's compromising our whole selves to fit into what is accepted in society. And for as long as we do that, we will slow down our progress. Have a message, please. Is there an oracle that can help clarify this? And that one. Unfinished symphony. Yeah, the longer this goes on, the more your unfinished symphony will sit and do nothing. The more you will become programmed, struggling with being programmed, not wanting to be programmed, wanting to be something other than programmed. You're only going to finish your symphony if you work that out. Orphaned. You're not orphaned, but it can feel that way, right? Cut off. Never-ending story. This is the funny thing. This is a never-ending story, really. Because we're spirit in human form, right? So that is who we are before we're programmed. We're in a never-ending story. But we feel like we're orphaned because we don't remember the story. We don't remember the symphony. We don't remember every element of the symphony, so it feels like it's unfinished. It sits there playing its little broken heart out, and we can hear little elements of it, but we know it's not finished. Because the programming keeps pulling us away from it again. Genuinely, the more we understand the programming, the more we will be able to objectively step away from it without doing ourselves or anybody else any harm whatsoever. And genuinely, the hermit mode can be quite useful for that, because it gives us that time out, that time away from society and kind of like the expectations of others. It is then quite hard to step back in, but you can do so incrementally. With what I mean by that is, the first time you go into hermit mode and then you come back out of it, it can be quite tricky because you then have to go back into societal mode, and you find yourself reverting. But then you keep going back into hermit mode, and it becomes easier to come back in as more of yourself. So you go back into hermit mode, you come back out, it's easier to be more of yourself every single time. It's easier to be and reveal more of who you really are. And the more you express who you really are as you come out and come back into society, the more frequently you do it, the more used to it that other people will become to. And the more aware, unfortunately, you will become of those people that really don't resonate with that kind of thing anymore, and that don't resonate with you. Probably need to let them go, unfortunately, which is hard, which is very difficult, because there could be people that you've known for 30 years or something. I have people like that in my life, and quite frankly, it is bloody difficult, because I don't necessarily want to lose their friendship, you know. Okay, this card just flipped over, regeneration. You regenerate every time you come out of hermit mode. You regenerate whilst you're in a hermit mode. You re-establish who you are. You re-establish and connect with yourself outside of any social norms or programming, because you can literally step away from all of that. It gives you an opportunity to really observe the things that have created who you are right now, the darkness, the shadow, all the things you've believed. It gives you an opportunity to really evaluate and objectively review them. And the more you do that, the more you're able to regenerate during that period. You come out of hermit mode, you go back into whatever society you go back into, and as I say, you are more yourself every time you do it. And eventually you are yourself. It's a long process. I know there are people out there that literally wake up one day and they're just enlightened, and they know everything that they need to know to be this perfect person that's not programmed anymore. They generally do find it difficult to then interact with people in society, and they become the sort of I don't want to do a sweeping statement there, because I don't know actually. But I think that's what this is saying. Yeah, I think this is what it's saying. Remember who you are. Exactly. Remember who you are. And allow that part of you, that person inside you, to grow. To be revealed. To yourself and to others. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.